right. Welcome to the December 2nd meeting of the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission. We're starting at about 7:10 p.m. because we were doing training on our new agendas and voting system. Can we call to order and have roll call, please?
Commissioner Whitaker? Present. Commissioner Chen?
Here.
Commissioner Bond?
Here.
Vice Chair Peters?
Here.
And Chair Alexander?
Here.
Everyone is present.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the regular session and the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'd like to request our Director Ted Stevens, if you could lead us in that, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving to the next item are items from commission members and staff. I would just, for the purpose of the audience, like to make an observation that this will be Director Stevens' last commission meeting with us, so I would invite him to give us one of his TED Talks.
You wanted it now?
Or you can defer to the end of the meeting as you
I'm going to
wish.
save it for the end.
Okay.
But, I do want to thank you for the cake and for the well wishes. But yeah, I mean, if I could close out at the end, that would be nice.
Okay, we will defer to the end then.
All right, thanks. Do you guys have anything?
I can wait till the end.
Otherwise, we'll wait to the end. Too.
Okay, we're all waiting. Commissioners, do you have any comments now, or do you wish to wait till the end of the meeting?
I'll wait to the end.
I mean, I could say something small. I just
Commissioner
wanted,
Bond?
this, of course, is about the plunge. And I guess it could wait until, we didn't really have a meeting, so it could wait until that time. But the other day, Monday, while I was at the plunge, I did a drop-in swim, and it's very quiet this time of year because it's getting colder and it's Southern California. So, so we tend to be a little, I wouldn't say I do, but we just end up with fewer people in the pool. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is that someone who had signed up for registration, she had to leave early that day. So rather than waiting until the top of the hour, even though the lane that she was waiting at was empty, she dropped in ahead of time saying, oh, I figure no one will care. And I don't honestly care, but if we're doing the registration or if you're doing the drop-in, unlimited drop-in, you need to go into the unlimited drop-in or you need to go into the registration because otherwise we should just open the pool up completely. And when I said something about it, well, you really should be in the unlimited drop-in lane, the friend that was standing there, oh, well, she never breaks the rules. I'm like, okay. But I know this seems nitpicky, but these were a couple of women who said they really, really wanted to keep that registration. And then they were breaking the rules for the registration, and that kind of bothers me a little bit because there's a lot of people who also just want it open. So I think that's all I was going to say. And also be careful, you guys. There's a lot of coyote sightings around the city right now. So if you've got animals, little pets, or even small children, I guess in San Diego, they've had some issues with children being attacked. So just be aware that we've got them out all times of the day, not just at night.
Commissioner Chen? Vice Chair Peters?
I just want to congratulate Park staff on another excellent Thanksgiving camp session. It was excellent. People had good times. I learned there's a new game called Four Corners, which I learned how to play, and it's very fun. And so appreciate, again, all you do for supporting those of us who have to work when the school just decides not to have school. So appreciate that again. Also glad we got some rain for all those fields, and looking forward to Christmas time and all the holiday events coming up.
Yes, I would include the holiday event spectacular in the downtown area, which will be this Thursday. I guess it's called Sled-tacular, which has, is it 50 tons of snow that they said they were bringing? A lot of snow for the kids. And it will have a tree lighting and various other musical performances. So it should be a good time for all, but you may want to get there early because it tends to get crowded because it's that popular. I was speaking to Director Stevens today about some reading we have both done, I think Commissioner Bond has as well, about the ever-evolving state of affairs for cities across California with respect to pickleball. Apparently, the city of Carmel, which doesn't have that many court spaces, but has decided not to allow pickleball at all. There are other cities that are doing it, but they require you to use their paddles. Apparently, the ones that are less noisy are quite expensive. And then, of course, there's the option that we used on some of our court areas to put sound dampening inside the court. So it appears to be ever evolving, so to be continued. Moving along to the next item is public comment for items not on the agenda.
You do not have any public comment at this time.
No public comment, okay. Next item is receipt of correspondence. I believe before the meeting, we received one item. Is there a motion to receive correspondence?
I move to receive correspondence, but I'm also, there is a public comment at the top. What is that item? Oh, sorry, the agenda.
That is the public comment that we received today.
Oh, so this doesn't go under the not on the agenda piece.
It wasn't on a specific item. It was
Okay.
more of a public comment on items not on the agenda.
Okay. So we don't discuss that now, though.
No. So as a reminder, with correspondence, we take a motion that you have received the correspondence, but it's not something we need to read out loud because it is filed away with your meeting materials and made public.
Okay, sorry. All right. I move to receive correspondence.
I second.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Chen, seconded by Commissioner Bond to receive and file the correspondence. And you may start voting. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to consent calendar items. C1, are there, I guess with this new system, I just scroll to the top to see speakers, so I no longer need to query whether there are speakers anymore. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. There.
But you can also always ask.
Okay. Should I make note that there are no speakers for the record?
Yes, you can. There are no speakers, yes.
There are no speakers on this item to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Is there any discussion on the minutes for the meeting of November 4th? Any additions or corrections?
I only have one correction. Page 3, second paragraph, third line up.
Can you write it down? What she's about to say. Go ahead.
It says could have be used, just needs to be could have been used.
Could have been used. Okay.
That's all.
That's
Just a typo.
page 3.
It's the big first paragraph on the top, but there's a small
Okay.
line above. So it's this really second paragraph with third line up from the bottom of that paragraph.
From the, okay.
Is there a motion to receive this item?
I motion to receive this item.
Can you, do you see the motion button?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to scroll up. There we go.
So now we know, so we can click on it, and we have a second.
And I have seconded the motion. Oh, we all have seconded it.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Bond, seconded by Vice Chair Peters. To receive and file the minutes for the regular PRCS Commission meeting of November 4th, 2025, with amendments. And you may start voting. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously.
All right, we are moving on to action
I wanna talk to
item
you about how we-
A1, which is the receipt and filing of a report regarding the PRCS Department's programming for Disability Awareness Month, and I don't see any speakers on this item, so we can jump right into it.
Good evening, commission members. My name is Michael Gunzai. I am the Social and Disability Services Coordinator at the Culver City Senior Center. As you may or may not know, October is Disability Awareness Month. So with that being said, we offer several programs, events, and activities to commemorate the month. And I'm going to be discussing a comprehensive overview of exactly everything that we did. So a calendar of events, our first event was actually our largest event. It was our annual Abilities Carnival and Resource Fair that took place on Sunday, October 5th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. It included live entertainment, games, music, food. It was all free, of course. After that, we had our community groove dance, which we actually rebranded. That used to be called Dances for the Developmentally Disabled, but that wasn't the best terminology to utilize. So we did a survey with our attendees, and that was the new name that they wanted to come up with. So that is the new name. That took place on Friday, October 10th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Continuing with our calendar of events, at the council meeting, the proclamation recognizing Disability Awareness Month was unveiled, as well as commendations to honor Disability Community Resource Center and Echo Horizon School for their outstanding work in the local community. Additionally, we had our doorstep events to provide some context in terms of what that is, because I'm not sure that you're all familiar with exactly what that is. So every other month, we provide holiday-themed goodies to residents with disabilities who sign up. So October was Halloween, so we provided Halloween-themed goodies. We actually drive to their homes and give them goodie bags. That's one of our regular attendees in our dances and our doorstep events as well. Her name is Laura Newsom. That is Nick Adams, our lovely rec specialist. So we tag teamed that day, and I remember it was raining. It was loads of fun, but we managed to get it done. We also added something new this year. We had a movie night, and that took place on Friday, October 17th. We showed Coco. I'll get into more details about that in a further slide. And then one of my favorite events, I love everything, but I'm a basketball fan, so I do like wheelchair basketball. I do have I'm a bit partial to that. That took place on Thursday, October 23rd from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And throughout the duration of October, we had Disability Awareness Month facts displayed at Julian Dixon Library as well. So as I mentioned, our carnival's really our crown jewel of the month. We put a lot of hard work and effort into it. And again, we have the games, food, entertainment. We also have tabling vendors. This year we have 14. This was my, I believe, third carnival I've been a part of, and that was the most vendors that we've had, so I am proud of that. So we have our local police and fire that come out to support us annually. We always appreciate them. Pictured, you see the Exceptional Children's Foundation. They do wonderful work in the community as well. So continued, we had a variety of different vendors. I know like Mom's Meals, which is pictured, they provide meals delivered to your door for eligible participants, whether you qualify via being a senior, 65 years of age or older, or you're disabled or low income. DMH was there, the Disability Community Resource Center. We've worked with DCRC for People First training in the past. They were also a commendation receiver as well. And Bridge OT, who provides occupational therapy for persons with disabilities. Just some additional tabling vendors. We had the Energy Assistance Program in attendance. They provide appliances free of charge for those that qualify based on their income. Unfortunately, there's a pause on the program right now, but hopefully that will resume. So it was nice to have them in attendance. Our very own DAC president, Lowe, he had a table on ADA. So we're appreciative that he spent some time on that Sunday to do that. California Relay Services, who provides services for hearing and speech impaired individuals relating to telephones. So our marketing plan, we revamped it last year, and we pretty much just mimicked the same thing we did last year. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Flyers, mailing out flyers, boots on the ground, good old-fashioned ingenuity, going to local businesses and organizations and handing out flyers and posting them if they allowed us to do so. Posted flyers at city facilities. We used social media platforms and digital resources as well, such as Eventbrite, Craigslist, Instagram, Facebook, Nextdoor. We had approximately 300 attendees, so I would say it was a success. Special thanks to the Culver City Girl Scouts. From the inception of the carnival, they've played an instrumental role in creating the games. As you can see, Clobber the Cats and the Hot Wheel Toss. Last year, they were gracious enough to renovate the games. And of course, we used them this year, and we're looking forward to doing the same next year. Very special thanks to the Culver City Exchange Club. They volunteer, they provide sponsorship, they pay for all the food, they come by and they barbecue, they volunteer their time, giving out candy and doing different things. They play a very, very big role in making the carnival a success, so special thanks to them. Also, we want to say thank you to the Culver City Senior Citizens Association, the CCSCA. They provide sponsorship as well. They provided the sponsorship for our live entertainment, so thank you to them. Also, special thanks to the Culver City Rotary Club. They were gracious enough to sponsor our balloon artist. So yeah, special thanks to them. It takes a true team effort to make this happen. So for live entertainment, we had a local organization, Jazz Hands for Autism. We had a DJ on site, and we had a special dance performance from Straight Up Abilities, who we are very familiar with. They're a regular attendee at our Community Groove dances, and they're pictured right here. That's their all-star team, by the way. Community Groove, we had a costume contest. So here you can see people pictured in their costume. It's always loads of fun. And yeah, I mean, it's probably our best attended community group throughout the year. So it's something that we always look forward to. So as mentioned, the council unveiled the proclamation recognizing October as Disability Awareness Month. We had some DAC members in attendance. Pictured is member Langman, member Tenensap, and member Sukni, of course, as well as myself and Recreation and Community Services Supervisor Jill Thompson, pictured with the council. DCRC, as previously mentioned, received a commendation for their fantastic work in advocacy in the community for persons with disabilities. Echo Horizon School as well. They provide special programs and educations for youth with disabilities, and as you can see, they brought several friends with them to receive their award. So this is a picture from our doorstep drop-off. So this is Zach Chaudhry, again, one of our regulars who attends all of our dances, pictured with recreation specialist Nick Adams. Always nice to bring smiles to people's faces and, you know, be able to give them things to look forward to. So that's always fun. So this is movie night. Again, we showed Coco on October 17th. We had, I say, a little over 70 attendees, so it was a huge success. We provided pizza, drinks, popcorn. Of course, it was free of charge. Yeah, and we received pretty good reviews, so we'll see what we show next year. And this is wheelchair basketball, the exhibition game from October 23rd at Culver City High School. It's always loads of fun to be able to see that live and in person. And a twist that I really like is that the students get to actually experience what it's like to play basketball in a wheelchair, which gives them hands-on experience to see what it's like dealing with unique circumstances like that. So yeah, I'd probably say that's my favorite part of the month. And here we have the display at Julian Dixon Library. Special thanks to DAC member Marcy Sukni. She works really hard on getting this done every year, and it was on display for the duration of October. So that concludes the presentation. I am glad to welcome any questions or comments. And I just want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to serve in this regard. I feel like prior to coming into this position, I really didn't realize like what it's like to, you know, live with a disability and the inadequacies and the things that aren't in place that makes things like sustainable or accessible for you. So this has really opened my eyes to that. And it's just an honor and a pleasure to be able to play a role in trying to make people's lives better. That's it.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Chen?
I just want to thank you for this lovely presentation. I had was not aware of just how many different activities there are for Disability Month here in Culver City, and I can see that it's, a wide spread of different types of activities to make something that's of interest and enjoyable to lots of different folks, so thank you. And I appreciate your personal comments at the end.
My pleasure.
Commissioner Whitaker?
Yeah, that was a wonderful presentation. Absolutely, I enjoyed the wheelchair basketball, and with the twist of actually having the students also sit in the wheelchair and try to experience it from that side of things, that really gives an interpretation to a different lifestyle completely. And that's really a wonderful twist. Thank you for that presentation. I also was made aware 300 people attended. That's huge for the was that overall, or was that just for was that a dance?
It was overall for the carnival.
For the carnival.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that's wonderful, man. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes, thank you for the presentation, and thank you for all of your hard work. I'm sure that it does not go unnoticed, because it's obvious how much you care about this position and how much you care about the people that you're doing this for. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Peters?
Well, thank you again for such a wonderful Abilities Carnival. I had the opportunity to attend it for a little bit. It was a lot of fun. And thank you also for providing an opportunity for the Girl Scouts to be involved. I know several finished their Bronze Award projects and, Silver Awards and Gold Award projects, and it's great to have those opportunities for the kids. And I heard the food was really good, and everybody enjoyed, I think there was cotton candy. I
Yes,
believe.
absolutely.
That was a particular fan favorite. I heard it was really good. But the burgers I heard were also really good. So the games were fun. It's a lot of fun to see the girls make the games too at my house, which is where a lot of them were made. And so thank you for all you do there. That was really great. And then also, thank you so much for all of everything else you do every month. And I know the door drop is very appreciative. Laura Newsom's my neighbor. I know she loves when you guys come around. And just generally, thank you again for everything you do. And that was a fantastic presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
I just have to keep saying this because it happens to me on the regular when I meet members either in the Culver City community or outside the Culver City community, and becomes part of the conversation that I'm involved with PRCS. And then when they hear about things coming out of the senior center in particular, people are just very, very complimentary. And it's because of the kind of efforts like putting together this that makes it happen. So again, much praise for what's happening with that. I have a question about the door drops. Do we do more door drops for this than we do for the door drops for the 90-plus-year-olds at Valentine's Day? Because I know that's very popular as well.
I would say no. We have about 20 people that we do the doorstep deliveries for. With the nifty 90s, as we call it, I would say typically it's about it's over 100 typically. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a much more wide range population. So.
I also like the way that the youth is involved, particularly through the Girl Scouts, but in other ways. Did you find it was a good mix between disabled youth and disabled older people at the carnival and the other events? I mean, I expect probably with the wheelchair basketball, it tended to the younger side, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I would definitely say at the carnival, I definitely noticed a lot more of our seniors. We have very loyal members who show up consistently, and I saw quite a few of them at the carnival, which I hadn't seen. I've seen maybe like a few of them before, but I saw a good number of them at the carnival this year, so I definitely noticed that.
Well, again, thank you for the efforts in this, because, like I said, once again, this is an arm of the community service arm. And when I first came on here, I was told by a prior commissioner to never forget the community services arm, and I never will, because you make it shine. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Is there a motion to receive this report and presentation?
I motion to receive this report and presentation. Where is it at?
I have a motion by Commissioner Bond, seconded by Commissioner Chen, to receive and file the report regarding the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department's programming for Disability Advisory, Disability Awareness Month. And you may start voting.
Scroll down.
Oh, yeah. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to action item A2, which is receipt and filing of the report regarding the fiscal year 25-26 adopted budget and consideration of selecting a PRCS commissioner to draft a letter to City Council with recommendations for the 26-27 budget adjustment recommendations. I'm presuming that we have two speakers, I see, by the way. But am I assuming, besides receipt and filing of the report, we could use this item to begin discussion about what we would want to see in that, or does that have to wait till the next meeting?
No, you can discuss tonight on what you would like to see, in addition to choosing someone to start writing them.
Great. I think I'll take the speakers first then, and the first one listed on my screen is Steve Rowe.
And Steve Rowe has ceded his time to Meg Sullivan.
Okay.
How much time? Did you want to do 3 minutes for each? So it'd be 6 for Meg?
Was 4 would probably be good, I would
4?
imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to add 1 minute to, oops. You have to add it by that.
To address you yet again. I'm going to unfurl my security blanket here. As many of you will recall, my husband and I are stakeholders in the Arts District, where we've spent a dozen or so years trying to improve the bike path that parallels the E-Line train and National Boulevard between Wesley and Sid Cronenthal Park. I would have wanted to come tonight anyway to give best wishes to Ted, but I'd long had on my calendar to return tonight. At the June Commission meeting, this juncture was mentioned as the earliest possible potential opportunity for considering the cost and potential funding options for pickleball courts or other community amenities under the train overpass at Wesley. To review, the Park Commission, as then configured, unanimously expressed a desire to further explore these steps. I'm sad to see Ted go for many reasons, but not the least of them was his assessment that the idea seemed totally legit, and that he had made contact with Metro staff, which expressed a willingness to make the land available. So I'm here just to remind everyone of that aspiration. Please understand, I'm not suggesting that the court should come at the expense of any plans at Telephone Park, but rather in combination between the two projects, the city could be gaining 4 or possibly 5 courts instead of just 2, and they could be located at a significant distance from each other. since the Arts District project could be quicker and cheaper than the television one, it could be installed while awaiting the more comprehensive undertaking, but that's a detail. Since some of you weren't seated at that time, I've asked for pictures to show what I'm talking about. So this is the overpass, and the idea does not include that first bay, which would need to be preserved as a passage to the Hayden track from the bike path. Next slide, please. This is a general location. You can see it's at the base of Wesley. Next slide, please. These are the dimensions. There's room for two in the one bay and possibly a third in another bay further to the west. Next slide, please. The concept involves dropping chain link from the overpass to the grade, leveling the grade, and laying courts. Next slide, please. Details could include more attractive fencing on the national side. Next slide, please. And of course, there's a precedent nearby at Platform for taking advantage of this land that's not used by Metro. So thanks in advance for your consideration, and I hope it can find a way into next year's budget, at least in some way.
Thank you.
And that was your final public comment.
Yes. Does staff have anything they would like to say before we get into it on the commission level?
I can just briefly go over what your budget letter was for last year and where those items stand. You requested some administrative positions to be added to the department. They were reclassifying the senior management analyst to deputy director, which I'm happy to say has been completed. You also requested a new senior management analyst position to be added to our budget. We are currently in the recruitment for that position. It was contingent on the passing of a Measure CL. So once that passed, we were able to join the recruitment that transportation was doing, so we could kind of get further along with it. You also
May I ask a question about that?
Yes.
As I think I recall before, there was another department that was already recruiting for that, so there's an established eligibility list now?
So that other department was transportation, and they had started the recruitment process, but a list hadn't been created. So I think they've just finished the first rounds of an interview panel. So the list is being created. We should have it soon.
Thank you.
And then you requested a management analyst position, which that position was not funded. You requested also 2 additional maintenance worker 1 positions to be added to our park maintenance force, and those positions were not funded during the budget process. You also requested an increase to staffing and benefits to part-time staff. Specifically, we were talking about staff at the plunge. The department is currently working with HR and finance to figure out what the total cost will be and how that structure needs to work. So the idea is that we will be going during the mid-year budget process with a request of the new structure over at the plunge so that this request can actually be carried out. It's just taken some time to work out the logistics for it. You requested the PRCS more funding was, sorry, I lost my place. You requested to include playground maintenance in the PRCS operating budget. For those of you who are newer to the commission, we do have a capital improvement project that's focused on playground maintenance, but there is this need to incorporate into the operating budget because it is an ongoing thing. It's not necessarily a specific capital improvement. However, this year it remained a CIP. The CIP is PP016, playground equipment repair, and we did add some funding to that, but it did not get moved over to the operating budget. There was a request to fund in-house youth sports programs. This was supplies and personnel. All of this funding was approved, but it was approved as a one-time because at the time the city manager had a lot of focus on Measure CL and if that would pass. So the idea is now that it has passed, we will go back and request this one time to be turned into ongoing. There was a request to ensure compliance with IMWELO. So that request, we have a CIP to upgrade the irrigation system. So $90,000 was added to that CIP to make sure that we can continue the upgrades as we work through the irrigation system. The actual consultant work that we were going to contract out has been absorbed by our landscape architect. It was proven when he was hired on that he very openly said, this is something I can do and work with our irrigation techs to complete. So that additional consultant money we have returned to the general fund. And then you asked for the Tellefson Park renovation. The entire renovation was not funded during this budget process. However, a new CIP has been created to begin the construction documents and design plans that will be needed before we can even go into the construction phase. So the city manager has requested that we spend this year working on those documents, which staff plan on putting out an RFP to bring in a firm to do them in the spring. And then once we have those documents in place, to then go back and ask for the money to actually do the construction work next year.
I have a question regarding that. When you get the construction documents, is there going to be different stages in terms of what's going to be done, what would logically be done first in terms of the project that might affect the funding? In other words, if we ask for funding and we don't get as much of it, should we prioritize which items of Tellefson that we would prefer? That's presuming that we want to continue putting that forward the next year. I'm just asking a general question.
Yes, if part of this conversation wants to be, and we can come back and bring this back next meeting, but if you all want to look at more details about Tellefson Park and do a tiered list of, if we can't do the whole thing, what you think should be done first, we can have that conversation.
Thank you.
I would recommend doing it before the construction documents, though.
Okay, thank you.
And then I also, within the staff report, just kind of give a breakdown of the budget. Our current budget for this fiscal year is for a little over $14 million. So that concludes my staff report. If you all have any questions about the budget, I'm definitely here to answer them. And then, as the chair mentioned, you all can discuss kind of what you see, what direction you wish the budget to go for 26, 27, which just sounds insane.
I seem to recall the last time we had this exercise, we also got additional input from staff in terms of items that they were in particular interested in. So at some point in this conversation, at least I would like to see that. I don't know about my fellow commissioners. There's different ways we could go about this. We could look at the items that were on the prior budget year list and decide for the ones that were not completed or completed fully, whether we want to continue with those as a starting piece, and then we could add additional ones onto it if you would prefer. But one thing that I just want to make the observation is we're going into a little bit different environment than we did the last time because, of course, you know, the organizational structure, not the structure, but the people within the organization are going to be changing soon. We're going to get a new city manager who's going to be very busy understanding the entirety of the organization, and I don't know where on the pecking order necessarily PRCS items will be, so it may behoove us once we put together our budget letter to really make sure someone or some ones of us can be at the council meeting so that they understand and that we're continue to advocate for everything that we ultimately end up putting in that letter. That being said, what's your pleasure? Shall we start with the items that were left over from last time? Or if anybody has like a list of items they'd like to have? Looks like the vice chair, who did a wonderful job in putting together the writing for it last year, please.
So just a thought of, do we want to, even if we don't formally vote on it right now, do we want to decide who is going to draft the letter at this point so that person could take good notes through the conversation?
We could do that. I'd like to wait till Commissioner Bond returns.
Speak of the devil.
We were discussing before we got into the meat of this, of maybe determining who the writer is going to be first so that they can take copious notes.
I'm happy to volunteer to write it again, but I do not have to. If anybody else is like dying to write a letter, they can feel free.
No, Vice Chair, I think you should do it.
You did a wonderful job last time, Vice Chair Peters, and I'm willing to kind of like pinch hit at as you get into drafts, if you found that useful, as we did last year. No other writers want to come forward? Okay.
Perfect. That was really my question of like, what kind of notes was I taking?
Should we take a vote on this separately or wait until we?
We can do it all at the end as one motion.
Okay, all right. Our intent at this point is to then vote for Vice Chair Peters to be the primary writer of this document. So would you like to start with the items that were left over from the prior year? If indeed you all feel, since we have new members, that those should be a priority going forward. Commissioner Whitaker?
I'm in agreement that we essentially start where we left off, and to continue the path that we were working towards. The things that we didn't get approved from last budget, to then work towards now with the measure being passed and hopefully some more influx of funds towards PRCS. Even though that we are getting a new manager for the city, I still think we should push forward, and maybe now is probably the best time that we could push forward on the new manager, knowing that we have the opportunity. Seeing that there may be a lot on their docket, but also fresh eyes, they're looking at new things, and as far as trying to brighten up the city, we're still looking forward towards the Olympics, and so I think that would be a good starting point for us coming with this budget letter and looking over what we were looking to get and looking to add. It's a good start for this.
Commissioner Chen?
I'm in agreement with starting from looking at what's left over from last fiscal year. As someone who wasn't here at that time, it would be nice to hear from either staff or other commissioners a little bit about how that, multiple hundred pages of master plan got distilled into this. Like, how did you make the choices the first go round? And then I guess that would be my question.
I can speak to, I think it was a consensus on the commission and also with information that came from staff to pick Tellefson Park because of the fact of the where it's located and generally the people that come into that park and the items that we could potentially put into that park were pulled from the master plan, but the idea going forward was to, until we get something like a parks bond, to start chipping away at something. And I think there was also some intent of putting something new into the community. So since we really didn't have any totally dedicated pickleball courts, and we heard a lot of cry for the community for that, that was one of the reasons why the Tellison Park item got in there. I would like to have Commissioner Bond potentially address the items that were in there regarding pool operations. It's on the first page, near the bottom.
I did read it. Are you, not attachment 4, are you talking about, okay.
The budget letter from last year on the,
Just,
So I'll be there, that's fine.
I'll pop in, just a quick so part of it was when we had talked about the plunge before and the lifeguard shortage there, it came up to our attention that while our pay was pretty competitive, neighboring jurisdictions were offering benefits for part-time staff. And also, just as you know, we've been really understaffed at the plunge. So the idea was to provide more funding, to provide more staff to keep the plunge open for more hours.
And to encourage people to actually apply to be lifeguards and to be staff at the plunge.
And then with the other staff positions, it was also clear from the master plan that we were lacking in senior staff to oversee doing any of the work, and trying to raise funds for the work, and those were sort of the ideas between those positions. And then just echoing what the chair said, in the master plan, there was also decision criteria of how we should prioritize projects, and Director Stevens pointed out that Telephison really met all of the criteria. So that was the goal with that one.
I believe Director Stevens may tell us an item that's hopefully going to be put on the agenda for December 8th that affects the staffing for the plunge.
Sorry. Not for the plunge, yes. We do have an item to reclassify the non-benefited pool managers to RPT, or regular part-time, which comes with partial benefits. So they're still part-time, but they do get some benefits. So that will be on Monday, yes. But there's a whole other list of other things that we're working with HR, as Adam mentioned. We're working with HR and finance on a complete revamp with like junior lifeguards and, other positions and things like that we'll be working towards potentially a mid-year ask. So we're just moving forward right now with the pool manager, because that's our biggest issue that we're trying to deal with. And then the rest of the plan is kind of to help create a way to retain and attract and recruit new lifeguards for the future ongoing. So part of it's going on Monday, the rest will be probably mid-year.
So if it's mid-year, if you're talking about mid-year calendar year, this budget letter from the commission would go to the city council before then, so maybe we have an opportunity to amplify what will be coming from the department in respect to these items?
Sorry, we haven't been given a date yet for when mid-year is going to take place. Could be early February, could be late January, could be March. So it is possible that you'll know before the letter actually is due to the council. And Adam will probably have more of an update maybe next month, because I've been told that the mid-year should be happening pretty soon.
Okay.
So we'll have some better information maybe next month in the next month's meeting.
Okay. So if there is a continued desire, maybe we just hold that in advance till we see what's happening.
Yeah, I think it's
with
something
the
you could have as like a placeholder, and then if you need to take it out, you can take it out, or you can leave it in, depending on what happens at mid-year.
what is the pleasure of the commission on that? Would you like to continue having that on there if we need to continue emphasizing the importance of restructuring the, okay, I'm seeing lots of nodding heads. Okay, great. All right. Let's see, I'm looking through the letters. Are any other questions you had, Commissioner Chen, in terms of how we got where we were last year? I guess we wanted to continue with funding the in-house youth sports programming, which seems to be popular and we're doing. The MWELO was just something that we needed to have in there with compliance with California's Model Water Efficient Landscape Ordinance because of all the properties that we have under the department. Was there anything else?
The only other thing I'll note is the maintenance worker one positions, I think,
Yes.
have been on the letter for many years, but we keep trying. Maybe one year we will get the maintenance worker one, but I think it's still something that is definitely necessary to make sure that our parks stay in good repair, so then we don't have to spend so much money later on, because as we all know, it's easier to fix it than to totally redo it.
Yes, and I think Commissioner Whitaker did hit the nail on the head when we're talking about some of that is maintenance, but some of it is maintenance along with beautifying. And if we want ourselves to have the best foot looking forward for all our visitors that are coming in with the Olympic Games, maybe we could have some wording that ties back into that.
I mean, I think a more maintenance workers always makes a lot of sense, but I did notice that it said, the language previously said, could possibly lead to some decrease or some reduction in contract services expenditures. I feel like it would be a stronger argument if we had a little bit more, like some more numbers to put behind that statement, if that's possible.
Is that something you want? Like,
I mean,
if that's something you'd like, we could bring that back.
I think that would be helpful to make it a stronger argument personally, just knowing what the scope of, whatever the duty specifications or the class specifications for a maintenance worker one, how that might, if you can crosswalk that with like what we're doing with contractors and maybe what could be reduced, that could be helpful.
I concur. I think that we had the model for now that we have a landscape architect. I believe it's saving some money that would be contractual services that would be coming out of the planning division that are no longer, because we're doing kind of staff sharing on that regard.
Yes, we are. So, okay, so I think I saw some nodding heads too, like that's some information that, okay, we can bring that back next
Yes,
month.
please. Okay. Adam, is there anything else that was on the list from last year that wasn't funded that we haven't discussed here that would be carried forward? Could potentially be carried forward?
No, it seems like you all hit everything that wasn't funded.
I would like to circle back with what I was suggesting, only because it's a very large number for the Tellefson project that we may not be ready to do that tonight, so we could potentially do it at our next meeting, but maybe to prioritize the items that are on the list that starts at the top of page 4 of our budget letter from last year, in the event that the entirety of it cannot be funded, which items, how we would prioritize them.
Just, if I can get 3 nodding heads, we could agendize a discussion specifically about Tellefson Park, and we have cost estimates for each of those projects, so we can bring those next meeting, and you all can see what the cost estimates are, and you all can freely talk. We'll break it down, and we can have it be more of a standalone item, so you all can more freely talk about Tellefson Park. And then we will have the budget letter follow that so that it will lead into it. I have a nodding head from Vice Chair Peters, Chair Alexander, Commissioner Bond. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, so we basically completed going over items that we didn't get last year. Now, what are some new items that the commission would want to look at? If we want to continue along the path that we had taken before, which is to be bold and to continue going down the North Star of the master plan, maybe we pick another park or some projects within another park that, I know staff last time helped us focus on Tellefson. Is there another park within the parks master plan that we should be focusing on next?
Yeah, and then there's also Lindbergh Park too. We did not get full funding for the playground at Lindbergh, so we only got the design money for that. So I want to ask for both if you want to prioritize. I mean, Lindbergh's a pretty high priority. That playground's getting pretty close to being red tagged, so you know, it's definitely a priority.
Yeah, I've had members of the community sometimes comment to me about the state of the equipment there. So that would be something that the department would be putting in their budget request anyway. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So this would just be the commission desires, just underlining the importance of going forward with that particular item. That's just a small piece of what the Parks Master Plan had listed out for projects in Lindbergh, but it's an important one that was already ongoing. So I don't have a problem with adding that.
And then just, you know, too, we're also looking at potential grants to help fund some of these projects.
Similar to the ones potentially that we got at Culver West or something different?
No, I mean, there's state Prop 4 money that could potentially be used for Tellefson. There's Land and Water Conservancy, which is a federal grant. It goes through the state, but it's federal money through the state. So there's some other potential grants that we're looking at that could potentially help for Tellefson.
I wonder if we might want to include something in our budget letter now that we did get some of the things that we asked for last year, which is a deputy position, and then also when we get it filled for the senior management analyst, the idea behind part of those requests was that that person could free up some time for the deputy so that they could be going after those grants. Maybe we should outline with a little bit more specificity of some of the things that the director had mentioned. Is that concurrence? Yes, I think you have that. Okay, great. What other items are there of interest in this budget letter going forward?
So I wanted to, I don't know which attachment this is. This must be the last attachment. The budget from last year that talks about the work plan priorities. So the Umwella we've talked about, the youth sports we've talked about, Tellefson Park. Is there something that we need to do to advance the in-depth financial analysis and assessment of youth and adult enrichment classes? Because that's one work plan priority, and the financial assessment of the rental opportunities at Vets Park, because those two don't seem to have any dates on them. The next one is the age-friendly action plan that's supposed to be finalized this year tentatively. And then the revenue and fee structure, which we've talked about in previous meetings, is an ongoing analysis. So I guess my question is are there activities related to these rental fees and, what was the other one? Youth and adult enrichment class analysis, or should we be trying to move, having some specific movements forward in those areas?
Well, I mean, part of that was, the deputy position was created to help with some of those. So right now, just the issues with completing those projects right now are just some of the flux. We're down a manager, and then we're going to be down a director, and so those projects, I mean, they work for this fiscal year, but they're just facing some staffing challenges right now. But those are still priorities, and so I don't know. I mean, potentially Adam could bring forward to you maybe next month if there's additional resources that the department needs to help further those projects. But as of right now, I mean, some of the items we got, which was the SMA, the deputy director, I think we just didn't get the management analyst one, but we got 2 out of the 3.
I think the directors brought up one good point. I will point out, maybe obvious, but when a city receives a new city manager with a new set of eyes, they may look at things differently. So I don't know if the commission would want to include something in that letter about the importance of filling the director position of this department as soon as possible. I mean, I'm hoping that the city is already starting the process, but also I have seen in different environments where reorganizational things can happen and you have a greater span of responsibility for the person in the director position. And given the span of activities that are already handled by the director of this department, its potential would lose the focus on some of the very important things here. Maybe it's stepping out of our lane to comment on that, but that's just something the commissioners may want to think about before we have our meeting next month in terms of if you want to make any comment regarding that. It's not a dollar item, but it's just a important reflection, I think, that the commission may want to consider making of the importance of the department in the grand scheme of things of the city. But those were good items. Commissioner Chen, did you have any other ones?
Sorry. No, not really. I guess the only other thing I would note just in the budget from this 25-26 fiscal year is on page 7, the performance measures. I think this one is lovely. Is there, I really like the specifics on sort of the number of programs and the number of participants. But, and I can imagine that it's incredibly hard to measure and monitor the Parks Division utilization, but I wonder if there's something that we can put in there to kind of more, just to help, to help people see how the parks perform for us as well. Because I think community services and recreation are well represented on this page, but the Parks Division doesn't seem to have a metric that really shows sort of the number of people using it. I mean, I know we're not checking in through a gate or anything, so it might not be possible, but.
Could we maybe add the number of people who attend Fiesta? We kind of have estimates of that.
But also, isn't there some place where it showed just how much the permits have increased to use the parks? Haven't there been more permits to use the parks? No? I thought it was on one of the pages that it showed that.
So the things that you are talking about, we can definitely gather. We do have numbers for park usage over specific timeframes. We do have park numbers for how many people were at Fiesta, how many people with a cell phone, I should say, were at Fiesta. And then Commissioner Bond, whatever numbers you want us to,
No, there was,
pull up, we can
I
do-
thought I was happy about it, but it seemed like that within the budget, it actually showed that there was an increase in how many permits were submitted to have permits and people actually paid in order to be able to rent like a picnic table or a field, and it seemed like those were increasing. We've talked about this before, how those have been increasing. More and more people are wanting to use the parks or to rent for like a birthday party or whatever. And to me, that kind of shows the usage of our parks is how, do you see what I'm saying, Commissioner Chen?
I do just kind of want to step in and let you know you are drifting away from discussing a budget letter and drifting into discussing performance measures.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize
We
were
can
still-
also agendize when we get to the calendar if we want to talk about our performance measures. I can give you, staff can bring you background on them, where they came from, kind of what's requested of us, so you know what kind of numbers we're supposed to be presenting. Because, for example, doing like a general attendance of Fiesta, finance is asking for actual hard numbers that we can show data from, and the estimates of Fiesta is a little harder to give hard data with. So, but we can agendize a discussion about performance measures if you all would like.
Yeah, sorry, just to close, I mean, I guess to bring it back, I see what you're saying, that we're drifting away. In my mind, they connected by saying the Parks Division is a large portion of the expenditures, and I'm really interested in maintenance workers ones. So it's more like, what is the daily foot traffic in the parks, right? Because that's, to me, that argument, if you can say, well, it's been increasing year over year, then you need more maintenance and more labor in that respect. That's what was going on in my mind.
Staff can also work with Vice Chair Peters with those numbers, so you all can see it kind of incorporated into the draft.
Okay, great, thank you.
Let me try to see if I can add something to this that might actually be a little bit of a preamble to our whole budget letter, because I envision other departments are doing this as well. I'm aware that the Housing Department has a whole dashboard of statistics and things that they have. But I think if we're going to be asking for a lot, as I suspect we will in our budget letter, we should make note of the fact that with all the housing going in, it comes with people. And the people are going to be anticipating having all the kind of things that PRCS makes available to it. So if there is a way we can take the statistics to talk about, if you're getting, X amount of increase in population just in your city, not even talking about all the housing that's in the corridors that are immediately surrounding us, the kind of pressures it's going to have on our parks, and then tie that back into, we need to have them fully operating and looking good for the Olympic Games, for all these new people. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yes, and the general plan has that information. So, Vice Chair, we can maybe schedule time, look at the general plan, and pull out kind of the statistics that Chair Alexander is referencing.
And one other thing that I think came out a couple meetings ago, I remember I was asking as to the fact that the Public Works Department has a way of grading a lot of the things, the basic infrastructure, and I believe Director Stevens says that the department is required to do that for some of our, is it Measure A funding? Did I get that right?
Yeah, it's called the Parks Needs Assessment, and it's updated every year for
Yeah.
LA County. It's due.
It's due now.
It's due it's due at the end of this month, so I think we're working on it right now.
Yeah. So if there are ways of taking that and tying that back into any of the, I guess it would be the capital request kind of items that we have in the budget letter, that would be good too. So we can say, the reason that we're asking for Tellefson Park or Lindbergh Park, and it's because of this grading system that we're already required to do, and here's where the grades are on these particular items, and then tie it back. So we can tie back to other things that are very real that people can understand. We have a grading system for how well the parks are maintained. We have a master plan that we worked with consultants in the entire community that was aspirational, so we can sort of tie all that back into the very specifics that we have. Okay, Commissioner Chen, you were done for the moment being. Commissioner Whitaker?
Going forward here, still in this discussion on this, and I don't have in front of me right now from the last budget letter, noting that I absolutely foremost on my heart is the Culver City baseball fields, the Culver City Park baseball fields, and I noticed it's on there. It's about 4 down. Underneath Tellefson and all that. That's definitely something I'm very, very interested in us trying to push that one, though, to the top as much as we can there. Yeah, just, to piggyback off Commissioner Chen, trying to, the numbers here, trying to work these numbers that they make sense, that when we submit, that it is comprehensive, to show that we have enough staff that, once again, will depreciate the amount of money we are using on outside contractors. Because it only makes sense to have our staff in our PRCS, and that's where the money should go, and essentially keep the money in-house. So hopefully we can look towards that and realize that that's more fiscally responsible on our end completely. Yeah, that's all I have on that.
Commissioner Vaughn?
I think we should keep pushing forward with what we currently have on there. And then I agree that it makes sense that since we have already done the work for Lindbergh Park you've already done the building or the design for Lindbergh Park? For the playground.
Oh, no, we got the funding for the design and construction documents.
Right, so we have the funding for the design and construction documents, and it seems like that it makes sense to, since we have that funding, to move forward, because then that means we need to ask for less in order to finish up the Lindbergh Park. So that is something that maybe potentially we could get done, well, maybe not in real life, but in, over the next year, or at least get that started, if they would be willing to give us that.
Yeah, I think
that money.
the normal process is that you have the money for that, but we are going to have community meetings with the Lindbergh Park community to figure out how that ties back into the potential plans, just as we did with the Culver West Alexander Park. Yeah.
But then to ask for the money to, once that's done, to ask for the money to complete those plans.
Yes, that would makes a lot of sense, actually.
It makes sense. So I think that that's something that we should put on there. And this is, it's maybe not part of the plan, but I'm just going to throw out there that that the plunge does get used a lot, and when the chair and I walked around the plunge and the pool deck, there were portions that the concrete is actually broken and coming up. And so the pool deck had portions where it was missing concrete. There was concrete underneath it. It's not like a lot, but I'm thinking, it might be nice to have that patched just because to ask for something like that, yes, it's 3 years from the Olympics, but if we are not able to get, funding, whether it's grants or whatever, to redo everything that we want, it would be nice, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be using that pool, especially during the summer and during the Olympics. So it's just a patch thing.
I would just add that Public Works is planning to repair that during the shutdown.
Oh,
this
well
month.
then, never mind. I don't know.
Well, we can take a look at it when, we can take a look
Great
at it when
minds
they're
think
done
alike.
and see
Yes.
if more work is done, but.
Right. Well, it was just a little, I know it's not a big thing, but it's thinking ahead, and the longer you leave something like that, the bigger it gets. Anyway, so I would say you definitely move forward with, have Lindbergh, but have the Telefsen at the top and all of the other stuff that we requested last year.
Vice Chair Peters.
Well, I want like $100 million and to do everything right away, but I know we're not
I
going to
second the motion.
get $100 million. Well, unless like Jeff Bezos is watching and wants to kick us, $100 million. Just, don't have a second honeymoon, whatever. One question I had that sort of piggybacks on something that Commissioner Whittaker said, in I think it was attachment 4, where you had listed all of the current sort of plans. It looks like for redoing the ball fields, because I also am an interested party in that as well, that we do not need any more money. Is that correct? Or do we need money to do field 1s, 3 and 4?
Yeah, so right now, the amount of funding we have is probably enough to do just Field 4. But to do the goal would be to fix all the fields up there. And Ryan, our landscape architect, has created designs and plans for that. We're about probably 1.5 million short from being able to do that full project. So we have $1 million. We would probably need an additional 1.5 if we wanted to do all the fields as opposed to just the one.
And does it make more sense to at least so for those of you who do not spend all your time at BOTS, Field 1 is the lower level that has the sort of nicer baseball field and where most of the soccer takes place. And then the upper field is 2, 3, and 4. So 2 is the one closest to the hillside and the parking. 2's in okay shape. 3, the outfield is, they only really play t-ball there in the spring, and the outfield is like mud pits and also gopher holes. And then Field 4 is where the giant mountain of dirt is that used to be the softball field. And right now, we don't really have a dedicated girls softball field, and girls softball is growing in Culver City. So my question would be, does it make sense, if we're going to do Field 4, we have money to do Field 4, so we can get rid of the attractive nuisance that is the mountain of dirt. But would it make more sense to redo the whole area at once, or at least 3 and 4 at once? Because I could see just stopping at 4, then when you're oh, now we're going to do 3, we're kind of going to mess up 4 again. So that's more of a process question.
Yeah, and Ryan would probably best answer, but I'm just trying to think in my conversations with him. I think ideally, yes. Ideally, it'd be best to do them all at the same time, because also you're not mobilizing a contractor twice or doing 2 different RFPs and all that. So yes, it would be easier to do it all at the same time. But we also don't want to prolong not having a girls softball field either. So We've kind of made that priority and made that commitment with CCLL, and that we want to try to get that softball field up and ready for next fall. So that's our priority. But, if we can identify funding, if we can get funding for the whole project, that would be great.
Great. All right. And then the other question I had is, would it be worth adding some funding to do like similar sort of construction plans to put in the pickleball or something under the E-line? Because given, now, having been on the commission now, I understand that like, these are usually multi-step, where first we need to do like the drawings and get all that stuff done and then bid it. And given the amount of staff time that we have, it seems like it's really hard to do a whole project in one fiscal year, but would it be worth putting some money or asking for money to get construction plans to try and put in extra courts, pickleball courts or something under the E-line? Because that, I think, is another area that the master plan identifies as a park core area.
For a project that small, Ryan has assured me he can put together the construction documents and design and everything for that project. So, and he could probably give a cost estimate to let us know how much money to ask for. So, I mean, that's something, if you wanted, I could have Ryan put together some cost estimates for that at the end.
Did
But-
we end up, I know Director Stevens, when we were having a conversation about the fact that all of the courts are being resurfaced in the city except for the one that's one tennis court at Sid Cronenthal is not being resurfaced at this time because it has problems with the surface. It actually is not flat anymore.
Yeah,
So
we've
it has
also
other issues.
removed the basketball court at Fox Hills because that one has some severe structural damage and needs to be completely replaced.
But I'm just wondering if we ended up saving money because we're not resurfacing that court, or maybe it's de minimis in terms of the
It's,
grand scheme.
yeah, I mean, it's saving a little bit of money, but we're still spending all of our CIP. So there will, to do the remaining courts.
I mean, I'd be a second nodding head for wanting the information on the pickleball court underneath the Metro, because everything that we need something new, is- for lack of a better way of putting it. It's a good location. It would showcase the idea that, we're making the best use of the lands that we have. So if for no other reason, and because we know that particular community has appeared before us multiple times asking, and I think, at least I personally made a commitment of bringing up their desires again and again.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it would be a lot of money. I mean, we're not talking millions of dollars. I don't even think we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, but, I don't think it would be super expensive. But again, it would be best to get those estimates from Ryan.
Okay.
And we can work on getting those for you.
Is there a consensus from the rest? Yes? Okay, great.
All right, one last question, sorry, that somebody asked me to ask about. Is there any room, if we had more staff, that we could increase the number of spaces in the after-school CARP program? Or are we still limited in physical space to put children? Adam's laughing.
Do you want me to answer it, or? So at this time, it's a combination. Physical space is what we determine the number by. We have been in discussions about ways to increase, but at this moment, what we have is based on physical space.
And is that true with the teen center as well, or is the teen center staffing? Given that that is another place where I think we still have a wait list, or is everybody off the wait list now?
I actually would have to confirm whether or not everybody's off the wait list, but we have taken at least 50 people off the list, because I know we did that a few weeks back. But that is a staffing issue.
Okay.
Is that just because we haven't been able to hire enough, or we don't have the funds to hire enough?
Hiring. It's us hiring staff that go through the process and stay. And we continue to lose staff. All of our staff most of our staff go to school and have other jobs. And so we are pretty consistently losing staff to either other jobs or going away to school or going back to school.
So it almost sounds like the situation that we had going on with the lifeguards, except that these people aren't required to have the specific skill sets that lifeguards do.
Correct, and we are pretty consistently interviewing. So we are definitely working on that and trying to expand our reach.
Great, that's it for me.
I actually don't have any other things to add because I've sort of been talking along with the rest of the commissioners, so I don't have anything else more to add at this point. Vice Chair, do you have the information that you need at this point?
Yes, I can start drafting a letter.
Great. And then staff, if you can get the information to bolster what the requests are, and then we can start looking at a draft. That needs to be done probably by our March meeting, if not before, correct, Adam?
The final approval?
Yeah.
Yes. Ideally, it's March, but that gives you a buffer in case it's April. Normally, we present the letter to city manager and city council in April.
Yes.
In January, I'll come with the dates of the budget meetings with city council because we want to make sure city council has it before those budget meetings.
Definitely. Director Stevens, it looked like you wanted to say, did you have anything else to add or no?
And then just in terms of bringing this back, because we need to bring the item back, our January meeting is very early after the new year. So does it make sense to wait to the February meeting? I mean, I can get a draft to you, but it's more like how much information from staff.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess you would have a very rough draft, like you might just have pickleball courts under Expo line, but you're not going to have any money attached to it or anything like that. So I would imagine that's all you would have as kind of the skeleton of a letter, and then we plug in the holes and then come back in February, do any last minute tweaks, and then hopefully come back in March and finalize it. I kind of envision that as the schedule. So you'd have like a bare bones skeleton in January, and then start filling things in.
Does that sound good for adding it to the agenda?
Yeah, I think that would at least let us know that, yes, you caught everything that we wanted to have included in there, and then the details are available as they present themselves. Yeah, I think that's workable. Okay. Sounds like we're done with this item. Can I have a motion, please? It's on A2.
I motion to receive and file the report regarding the Parks, Recreation, Community Services Department fiscal year adopted budget. As well as, are we voting at this time for Commissioner Peters?
Yes.
Okay, and to confirm Commissioner Peters as the point person for writing the letter.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bond, seconded by Commissioner Chin, to receive and file the report regarding the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department fiscal year 25-26 adopted budget, and approval of Vice Chair Peters to draft a letter to City Council with fiscal year 26-27 budget adjustment recommendations. And you may start voting. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously.
All right. Moving on to item A3, there are no speakers. A3 is the drafting of the PRCS biannual report to the City Council, including accomplishments during the period of July through December 2025, and the 2026 scheduled activities plan, and authorization of transmittal of said report to the City Council.
Also, if you'll see at your station, there's a light that says Member PC.
Member PC?
It's at your station. It's it's on the left or the right? If you, right under it says Presentation, if you press that button, you'll get a close-up of the screen. I forgot to tell you all that at the beginning of the meeting. I should have done it for the presentation on Disability Awareness Month. Sorry about that. But that's a new function to where you can toggle between the agenda and what we're presenting. For our new commissioners, twice a year, the commission needs to do a biannual report that we submit to City Council, letting them know what you've done for the last 6 months, giving them highlights, and then what your intended goals for the next 6 months are. So staff always gives you kind of a jumping off point recommendation, and then it is very much up to you what you all choose to put in the report, because it is your report to City Council, it is not staff's. We just think it's good to give you a jumping off point. So from staff's perspective, some of the PRCS Commission highlights during the last 6 months, which was July to December, would be in response to City Council Policy 3406, formed a naming and renaming of minor facilities ad hoc subcommittee to consider future applications and requests to name minor facilities, provide feedback on the PRCS department site locations, designs, and cost estimates for potential community gardens. You provided feedback regarding the structure and staffing for lap swimming at the plunge. You received community feedback and made recommendations to the PRCS department concerning the hours of the paddle tennis courts at Alinda Street and Culver Boulevard. You recommended to City Council to approve a resolution that established Culver West Alexander Park as a national demonstration site that prioritizes inclusion, nature integration, and physical activity. Excuse me. And then for your 2026 goals, looking over the upcoming first 6 months of that year, staff is recommending you support community outreach efforts for park projects, because we do have a few plans for upcoming community outreach. To continue work with PRCS staff to evaluate the program fees and make recommendations to City Council, because that is heading to City Council in the spring. Continue to evaluate PRCS programming by receiving presentations from PRCS staff and making recommendations, and continue to advise PRCS staff on plunge programming and staffing concerns. And again, as a reminder, this is your biannual report to City Council, so if you would like to go with those ideas, that would be lovely. If you have any changes you want to make, you are, of course, able to make those changes. And the chair stepped out for a second, so the advice, no, the chair's back. Speak. You came so close to being in charge.
Okay, so I guess we're discussing the items that we've done for July through December of this year first. Commissioner Whitaker.
I'm just beginning to really look over it, and I mean, these are some good starting off points for what we've begun to do. Is there I guess staff? You just said this is ours, right? So we can make any recommendations on here that we'd like to make and add and subtract. Okay. As far as this, can we add the as far as La Bologna, can we add that on here showing the increase of participation and the extreme gratitude from the community to show that how PRCS is definitely developing and growing.
Just as a correction, this is highlights of what you all have done,
Okay.
not the PRCS department.
Okay.
But we can completely add that the commission is grateful to the community for their continued support and attendance at Fiesta.
I just need a moment because I'm looking over this.
Okay.
And just,
Yeah,
I just need a moment.
we can cycle back.
Okay, thank you.
That's fine. Commissioner Chen?
We had things in here about the community gardens, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I appreciate the time and energy that staff put into this to get us started, and I think this is an excellent foundation. I feel, we did discuss some things about the CCUSD crossing guard and some of the other sort of interactions between PRCS and CCUSD, right? Is that something we could include or think about deepening for the next 6 months?
Yeah, they can. Yes, if you want to add it as a goal. I do know the city and the school district are in discussions for joint use agreement. So, you can continue supporting staff through those discussions. I mean, it can be however you all would like to, but that's definitely something you can add.
If we're talking about joint use agreements, I became aware, actually, we have another joint use agreement that is with West LA College, and I'm very curious as to what's in there and when the last time that was looked at. So I would like to see that as something that would be done, if not in the next 6-month period, sometime within the next 12-month period.
I don't know about a joint use agreement. I know there's a committee, like, between the city council and I've been to one meeting in the 2 years that I've been here between us and they don't, I don't know that we don't use any of their facilities. They don't use any of our facilities right now.
So there is no joint use agreement?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, I haven't
Not
seen
that
one
I'm
either.
aware of.
There's not an active one.
Yeah.
And by active, I don't mean that it expired. I mean it's not being actively used by either
Yeah, it's not
party.
being actively used.
Is it something that it would be useful for the commission to be aware of? In other words, is it something that would fit into the grand scheme of the fact that it's always hard for us to find spaces and other?
I would warn that you're getting a bit off topic by diving into the specific joint use agreement on when we're talking about the biannual report.
Well, I'm talking about the other part
the
of what we're
goals.
going to do for the next year. That's the second part of this page that I can't scroll down on. So I guess I've done that. Yes, goals and plans. I'm sorry, I got ahead of ourselves. I was only mentioning it because Commissioner Chen was talking about CCUSD and its joint use agreement.
I think this would be my recommendation, is that you focus on the one with CCUSD for now. And maybe that's something you keep on the back burner for July, December of next year. Like,
Okay.
after we get the high school one figured out, because that's the one that's the most important.
Yes.
Then maybe we can look at the one with Golden West Go. That would be my recommendation, but you can do what.
It could be a longer-term project, just like
Right.
some of the
But I think
things
the
that we
focus
have in
should
the
be on
master plan.
the
but-
school district.
Yeah.
That's all for me.
Commissioner Bond?
I was thinking about what we've done, and there was something recently, but it was more, I'm not remembering, it was more something that,
I think I know what you're referring to. I was going to wait for my remarks, but if you want some assistance on this. At our last meeting, we were talking about working together with the planning division to come up with the guidelines that would be used in the future for any recommended reductions to the park facilities fee whenever developments come. Remember that whole discussion at our last meeting?
yeah, whether they wanted to, if it became them talking about decreasing, not so much the, I guess, setting up the guidelines of what would constitute.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Helping to develop some criteria by which to evaluate whether a reduction
Correct.
in fees was appropriate for a
Right.
proposed development project, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking of?
Yes, that's what I was thinking about. Because that was, yes, it took 3 of us. But it is an important part, and I think it will make a big difference.
Yes. And it also highlights the fact that of our willingness to work with other departments as well on something important. Is there anything else, Commissioner Bond?
Is the sentence I just wrote, work with PRCS staff and planning department staff to develop a process to approve reduced park impact fees and development? Is that,
Well, I think it was also that the potential of it coming here first, so that we can actually discuss, if someone requested a reduction, it coming here first to see if that's actually
And
going.
using the model that's currently in place with the Arts Commission, that what they use when a developer wants to put in a piece of artwork or have their architecture concerned as art, so it would be a reduction against the fees that they would normally collect. So we were going to look at that as a potential model so that anything that would be requested as a reduction to that fee would actually come to this commission first, so that when it went to the final authority, which is the planning commission, they would know that we had reviewed it.
so that would be the process that I'm referencing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
although
Because I don't want to bog this sentence down with too many details in case it goes a different direction. I want you all to have the freedom to work on a process between the departments. Ideally, that process will come to you all and then go to the planning commission. But, I don't want to get you all stuck in a hole because that's what we talked about. Whereas by keeping it open to develop a process, whatever that is, allows you all a lot more freedom, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
For me, I think that's it. I think-
Okay.
Yes, I could.
Vice Chair Peters.
Yeah. Adam, can you scroll back up in a second? Under provided feedback regarding the structure and staffing for lap swimming at the plunge, I feel like that kind of undersells what we did. Maybe adding something about like creating the subcommittee that has helped oversee changes to the plunge, or and also what's that? And then provided a place for additional feedback from the public, something like you know, because did we have that meeting in the last 6 months? Or was that earlier?
Yes, we did. And then we also had another meeting. The first initial full-on meeting was like, yeah.
I believe you
Okay.
did have, within the last 6 months, a plunge dedicated meeting.
Yeah,
Great.
September.
It was September, I think,
It was
yeah.
Yeah, right.
September was
That's right.
plunge dedicated.
Okay, yeah, that looks great. And then, under the, what we're going to do, I see on our agenda for January, you've added, National Fitness Campaign Grant. So I think, like, maybe add another bullet point, continue to work, or continue to support PRCF staff on grant applications. Is that enough? You think?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah.
And then, do you think that the support community outreach efforts for park projects, does that also sort of encompass, like, continue to help push forward the parks master plan or the projects under the master plan? Because most of those outreach efforts are for,
For.
Yeah.
So I could add as determined through the Parks Master Plan.
great. Just keep reminding them we have that document. We should implement it. And that's it for me.
Can we scroll back up to current, or last 6-month period? Would it be accurate to say, under the item that talks about paddle tennis courts, that the commission also continues to advocate for the potential of creation of pickleball courts? And have we done it during that time period or not? I mean, I know we did it in the sense that we asked in last year's budget, and we're going to go with the next year's budget request, talking about putting them in Tellefson, and we were just, and also the potential of putting one in under the Metro.
It really didn't come up within the last 6 months, but I think you all could add it as a goal to continue to advocate for, I wouldn't say specifically pickleball courts, because the conversation tends to be not, I mean, we talk about pickleball courts a lot under the Metro, but, you know, staff has submitted a grant, which we don't know if we're going to get or not. There's in the master plan in Culver City Park, it asks for like a tennis and pickleball area. So again, I always want to try to lean towards being more vague in these goals. So I would say advocate for all types of racket courts throughout the city.
Continued expansion of racket court facilities.
Yeah. And that will tie into what sounds like the direction you're going with one of your budget requests, and then anything else that staff brings forward.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else to add. Commissioner Whitaker, I was going to come back to you.
I don't know if this is redundant, but I did want to, because I just didn't see it worded this way, but adding I guess more or less, PRCS, us as the commission, having a continued evaluation of our green spaces of the community and working with our landscape architect.
Oh. Wait. Let me scroll up because that all ended up. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
That's along the lines.
I think at one point when we were discussing the community gardens that we wanted to do a refreshed look at the guidelines on how they were going to be allocated and some of those other things. I think we
Yes.
committed to do that. So I don't know if that would be under this, or we want to amplify it or have it as a separate bullet.
I don't know if it will come back to you in the next 6 months.
Okay.
Because of other projects going on, we need to do, something that staff is going to do is kind of do an evaluation of all the projects in comparison to our new staffing issues. As politely as I can say with him
Yeah.
sitting in the room. So there might be some things that we thought were going to come back to you in the spring, but may come back in the fall.
And I just had another item that popped into my mind because it's going to come up later on another agenda item, so I don't know if we want to amplify it again, but what about the fees and charges study?
So I do have continue to evaluate PRCS programming by, nope, sorry, that's the wrong one. To continue to work with PRCS staff to evaluate program fees and make recommendations to City Council, because we do have an outside consultant working with PRCS. We're about to finalize that agreement. So that is still, it's a little terrifying because of staffing, but it is still slated to go in spring. So that is on your list.
Okay. Are there any other items? No? You're good with all the wordsmithing staff has done for us on this particular item? You do all the work and you try to make us look good. That's wonderful. If there are none, I'll take a motion to adopt this particular item. Now what happened to my screen?
I will motion for, oh, sorry, I was rejected. I don't know who went for.
I lost my main screen. Somehow when I pressed the presentation button,
No, you're still there as the mover.
It's because I switched it. So if you press member PC or
Oh.
PC member. I don't
there
know
we
what
go.
it was.
Thank you.
Member PC. There you go. And Vice Chair Peters, I do have you as making the motion.
I would like to make a motion to finish drafting the letter to the commission regarding our accomplishments of the period July through December 2025 and our scheduled activity plans, and authorize transmittal of the report to City Council.
I second it.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Peters, seconded by Commissioner Bond, to approve a draft of the PRCS biannual report to City Council, including accomplishments during the period July through December 2025, and the PRCS Commission's 2026 scheduled activities plan, and authorization of transmittal of the report to City Council. And you may start voting. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously.
Very good. Moving on to action item A4. We have no speakers. Receipt and filing of updates from the members of PRCS commissions, ad hoc subcommittees, and representative appointees to outside organizations and city committees. Commissioner Bond?
This is very odd, because I must have missed November.
Today's mine, right there, yeah.
Okay.
So, I normally wouldn't have done that, so I don't know.
She's sitting in that chair.
Oh, I don't know why I would have done that, but I did.
We don't have any senior center staff. Okay, we can get an update offline.
I can get one.
Yeah,
I'll get
okay. Moving on, the Culver City Arts Foundation.
All right, so the Culver City Arts Foundation met not on the third Wednesday, it was like on a Monday. They talked about their recent events, how the Asian World Film Festival and the LA Gold exhibition had gone well, and talked about other recent events. They noted that in January, at the January 12th City Council meeting, the city's officially going to accept the grant from the organization and acknowledge the group. They talked about how the Economic Development Group is updating the Culver City travel website, visit, to be separate from the city's main site, similar to like a Visit Culver City site. They also talked about the kiosk placements and how they want to come to those meetings to talk about making the kiosks look nice. They talked about the EV charger sponsorship and logistics. So there is this Amazon City EV charger project. It is somehow that CCAF is like the fiscal receiver, which I didn't totally understand that part, but the paperwork is mostly going to be between Amazon and the city. They were joking that they should put stickers on them that say like Culver City Arts Foundation. They talked about how the Community Arts Committee and what sort of progress that they're making on the Community Arts Plan. The consultants have been interviewed, and then they will start working on the plan. They discussed the need for greater advocacy for arts facilities, and then how there's a lack of city-owned arts facilities that makes public advocacy harder compared to sports and recreation groups. So they feel like sports and recreation groups have more space and seem to be better able to advocate than for having more arts facilities. So that might be something that as we're thinking about redoing some of the different locations, and especially having more, like redoing buildings, about including more space for art studios and art in the parks. They're still working on the tree surrounds in the Arts District. They talked about, I guess there's a new MGM sign going in. More about the city. They're redoing their own website. It was a really long meeting. And now looking back at my notes, I'm like, what was I always writing down? And then they just have lots of things going on. So they were planning their artist meetups. They're having a holiday party. They're working on a book festival. And then in 2027, here was the exciting thing. Italian Mocha maybe wants to host its major prize show in Culver City in 2027, which would be super fun.
Did you say mocha?
Italian Mocha? I don't.
Like a drink mocha?
No, like Italian, like some sort of Italian museum of contemporary art.
Oh, okay, all right. Darn.
On my screen, it looks, it was, so they are very busy and are hoping to have a very good new year. And I don't believe they will have a December meeting. I believe they'd cancel that, but then they seem to have meetings pop back up, like, with very little notice. So I don't believe they have a December meeting plan, but that's all that's going on. So I think the key thing for us to just continue to remember is, as we're thinking about redoing buildings, is including arts facilities in the parks buildings. That's it for
Thank you.
Arts Foundation.
In her report, Vice Chair Peters happened to mention the Arts Foundation looking to kind of make the kiosks look better, but I'm wondering, has the city put together a framework for how departments will provide information for the city portions of that? of using the kiosks? I mean, I know part of the idea was that it would showcase the business community, but part of the panels were also going to be for city use. So I'm wondering if they've set forth a framework for that yet.
I'm not aware of any specific framework that's been brought to us yet, but I think there is talk of, allowing us to obviously promote our events and our classes and things like that.
Okay. Because I'm sure we'll want to take advantage of that. All right, and the next one is the Summer Olympics Preparation Ad Hoc Subcommittee, and I guess we haven't heard anything yet in terms of additional things that we can be doing to assist on that. I don't know if the department has yet. We're waiting. So I don't have anything to say on that. And Adam, I think you touched on the fact that there's the consultant that's going to be working on the rental fee study, so we're still hoping to have this sometime in the spring. Because I know that Commissioner Whitaker at some point needed to be sort of clued in on exactly what it all was about.
In January, Commissioner Whitaker, I'll probably bring you up to speed on what we worked on last year. And then January is really when I expect the subcommittee to start working again after the holidays. We're finalizing the agreement with the consultant currently, so it should be signed by the end of the month.
May I ask who the consultant is?
It's NBS.
M?
N as in Nancy. I actually don't really, off the top of my head, don't know what the initials stand for, but they're the same company that did the fee study for the entire city.
Okay.
So they're a great company. I've worked with them directly before. It's going to be it's a really great working relationship.
Okay. Thank you. Next is the Plunge Procedures Ad Hoc Subcommittee.
We did not meet this month,
Okay.
so.
And I think that's our list. Is there a motion to?
There's one more.
You have one
Wait,
more.
what? What did I miss?
Naming
Oh, that was on the next page, I'm sorry. Yes, the naming and renaming the minor facilities, the one that we just created.
I did send an email to Deputy Director Ferguson and Commissioner Whitaker, but the Deputy Director recommended that we wait until after Thanksgiving to actually do anything because there was too much going on before the holidays to actually do it. So hopefully we'll be able to do it this month or.
I believe we can do it this month because the staff has completed the research I wanted to do before we met. So we'll be able to, I'll probably send out an email this week to start finding the right time to meet this month.
Okay. Great. And on that note, is there a motion to receive and file this update?
I move to receive and file the update on the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission ad hoc subcommittees.
And that you can leave alone, so then you can go up and click record, and then you're going to repeat everything. So you had a motion by this person, seconded by this person to, and say the motion.
All right, we have a motion by Jennifer Chen and seconded by Maggie Peters to receipt and file of the updates of the members of the Parks and Recreation Community Service Commission ad hoc subcommittees and representative appointees to outside associations and city committees.
Go to the top and hit go to vote and tell them you make it start voting.
And you can vote.
Exit out of that. And switch over to green, I guess. Yeah. And then go record. And then let them know the votes are in and it passes unanimously.
And with all the votes in, that passes unanimously.
It's up to you. I don't want to put you on the spot. But it's up to you. You're good.
Okay, moving on to action item A5, which is the receipt and filing of our 2026 meeting calendar and upcoming agenda items list.
So you can see your next meeting is Tuesday, January 6th, and your meetings fall on the first Tuesday of every month. You have the dates there for all of 2026. For your January 6th meeting, the budget letter to City Council, we will continue discussing that. You also requested to send someone to City Council for the public hearing on park impact fees, so that person will be selected at that meeting in preparation for that meeting, for that City Council meeting. And then, as referenced earlier, this PRCS department is considering becoming a member of the National Fitness Campaign. It is specifically kind of an outdoor gym. We're thinking of possibly installing it at Tellefson Park instead of the volleyball court. So we'll have a presentation showing you what exactly that is, how we think we can best utilize it, to see if you support it going to City Council. So this is a grant process that will allow us to pay for that outdoor gym. So you'll get all the details then, but that's specifically, it's called the National Fitness Campaign. It sounds more like a campaign and less of what it really is, which is an outdoor gym. So that will be brought to you in January. The goal, they're going to be starting that grant process pretty quickly, so the goal will be a fast turnaround to go to City Council.
Question?
Yes.
You said it's replacing the volleyball court. Was the volleyball court one of the listed improvements from the master plan, or?
It is. So that will be part of the discussion is, do we want to stick to the specifics of the master plan, or do we want to adapt it because we have this new thing that was brought to us? So
If you got this money from the grant that replaced the volleyball court, then that would reduce the cost for all the other improvements of Tellefson then?
it could possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I know earlier this night, you also wanted to add a discussion of Tellefson Park with cost estimates, because that will tie into not only our conversation about the National Fitness Campaign, but it will also tie into your budget letter. So we'll go ahead and add that. I finalize the budget letter, but really it will be continue to work, because you all will tonight said you all want to finalize it at your March meeting.
Wasn't there also about the potential to have some cost estimates for the pickleball courts under the Metro line? But would that be in the February, or would January still be okay to do that? That was only so.
Do you want it separate out, or do you want it as part of the budget conversation?
Yeah, I think our goal was to include that as part of the budget
With the
letter to
budget
City Council.
okay.
We'll provide it at that time.
Okay.
But I can also make note so that we make sure it happens. Pickleball court estimates under the Metro. Is there anything else you all would like to add at this time?
That seems like plenty.
I agree, but I didn't want to cut you all off.
Could we get put on the discussion dates to be determined, potential to get an update about the ball fields at Bots and the maintenance and improvements?
Yeah.
Okay. And we might be able to, we'll talk to Ryan, but this update on Culver West Alexander Playground, I think we're on the verge of being able to bring that back to you. We won't do it in January because your January is quite full, but possibly in February, or maybe, hopefully in February, we'll be able to bring you an update and let you know where we are with that and what the timeline for it is.
Also, maybe in February, could we consider talking about whether we want to do a hierarchy of what we think is most important for Tillotson. If we,
We have that,
is that in January or?
yeah, it is.
Okay, just, okay.
Hierarchy. I don't like the word hierarchy, but yeah.
Prioritization.
Priority, okay, with priority list, okay. Okay.
I couldn't think of prioritization.
Are there any other items? We can work on February and January. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can start at some point picking up those items under discussion dates to be determined, but we are cognizant of the staffing issues on some of these, and some of the other ones that we really do need to move forward on, like the fees and charges, and the other ones, I think. Okay. Is there a motion to adopt this item?
I motion to adopt this item. Oh, okay, someone else did it. I don't know.
I second it.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Bond, seconded by, I have 2 seconds, so I have a
Ballot
second.
out, folks.
So I have a second by Commissioner Whitaker. Is that where we're going with, or Commissioner Chen?
It's fine.
Okay. So
It's
I
not-
have,
It's not like you can do it. So.
I have you highlighted now, so
Okay.
you've got
Okay,
it.
it's good.
Okay,
It's
so
all good.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bond, seconded by Commissioner Whitaker, to receive and file the Parks, Recreation, Community Services Commission 2026 meeting calendar and the upcoming agenda items list with the adjustments. And you may start voting. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously.
Right. And we now go to public comment for items not on the agenda, and I don't see any speakers listed.
We don't have any, right? Correct, we do not have any.
Okay. Then moving on to items from members and staff, and I think we'll start, now we can start with staff and TED Talk.
Okay, we'll say, Adam, do you have anything?
Yes, I do have a couple things. So I first want to thank our Deputy City Clerk, Tiana Allen, for being here tonight. This is our first night with the new voting system, and her giving us her time, I think, is really amazing and important. So thank you so much for being here. I also want to thank all of you for being so supportive of me as Deputy Director. It really does mean a lot. As we went through the budget process and all the amazing things you all had said about me. So thank you so much for all of your kind words and your support. In December, we are partnering with an organization called A Child's Dream. So we are helping to bring Santa from the North Pole to that event. It is happening on Saturday, December 20th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you are available, feel free to stop on by and check it out. It's a really kind of an exciting event, and we're really excited to be partnering with that organization this year. Also in January, I'm going to go ahead and let you know now because schedules are always so crazy, but the Martin Luther King Jr. celebration will be happening at Veterans Building Auditorium on Saturday, the 17th, at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, yeah. From 1 to 4 that day. So I hope to be able to see you there. We have a committee that helps plan that event, and they've been working really hard, so I think it's going to be a great event this year. And that is all I have for right now.
Great. Danny?
Thank you. So the Winter Basketball League is open right now. It starts in January. Our winter camp is full for the first week, but we do still have spots open in week 2. We hired a new teen center specialist, and she's been tracking participants since August, and we have had 3,000 visits by kids, which I think is amazing. The plunge, I believe I mentioned in the last meeting that we were doing a food drive. So they received 500 food drive items from approximately 100 lap swimmers, and that went to Exodus Recovery. The winter closure for the plunge will be December 14th through January 4th. And that is all I have, but I did want to, again, say in this meeting, thank you to Ted. He's been an amazing director to us for the past 2 years, and as a department, and especially as part of the management team, he is going to be genuinely and greatly missed. So, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Danny. I think you already mentioned the Sledtacular on Thursday. We will have staff on site. Daniela, one of our supervisors, Adam will be there, and some of our other staff will be managing the sledding area, the waivers, and kind of handling all the wristbands and all that. We've been doing the registration for them for the last, several weeks. So we also help, fund some of the other things that are there. Also, I wanted to invite you, the Senior Center is having their holiday party next Friday, the 12th, from 11:30 to 2, if you want to stop by and check out that. And then just, lastly, I since this is my last meeting, I did want to just say that it has been an absolute honor and a pleasure to serve this city and to serve this department and this community for the last 2 years. It's a very amazing city for the size of the city. The amount that this department does is truly amazing. I don't think there's very many cities this size that have the level of service that we provide. It's quite unique and quite special. There's an amazing core group team here, starting with Danny, Adam, Jesse, and Dorian behind you. Mike was here earlier. Megan, Kim, Daniela, Stephanie, all the coordinators, Graciel. There's an amazing core team here. Hopefully we can fill some of these management vacancies soon, because this department's really ready to go to the next level. We just need to fill in those vacancies and pieces that are missing. But what I would implore on you as a commission is to help shepherd that process. And with the new city manager coming in, I think it can be. I think it's incumbent upon you, hopefully, as the commission, to really advocate for this department and to really speak up, make sure that we're not forgotten about, because this department is important to the city. I think most of the community know that and understand that, but I think sometimes we get taken for granted that we're just here and that we just do these things. But if we're forgotten, it'll be harder for this department to continue doing those things. So I really hope that it's something that you can continue to do in the next budget process with the new city manager and the city council, is just make sure that this department is not forgotten. Please continue to support Danny and Adam and the rest of the team. I know you'll do that because I know you all genuinely care, about this city and this department. And so I appreciate all of you. It's been an honor to work with you for the last 2 years or 6 months, or for some of the newer ones. But this is an amazing community. This is an amazing department. I'm not leaving because I don't like it here and I'm not happy. I do like it here and I am happy. So it's not like that. I've made some lasting friends and friendships here that I hope will continue on beyond. I won't be too far away. If there's ever anything you guys ever need or want or have questions, feel free to reach out. I'll just be down the street. And again, I do appreciate all of your support the last 2 years too. I do feel like this body has really supported me as the director here, and and what we wanted and needed for this department. And so I appreciate that, and thank you.
Thank you, Director. Commissioners, it's time for our comments. I'll start with Commissioner Chen.
I just want to thank you again, Ted, for your hard work and dedication to the city and to this department, and wish you the best in your next steps.
Commissioner Whitaker.
Well, just a bit of housekeeping, and this more is a comment more for the community as a whole, who's ever watching or whoever will watch. This is your community, and it is imperative that you pick up your trash behind yourself. I go around to the parks very frequently, ride my bicycle all around the city, and I've noticed in some of the parks that people decide to just discard their trash on the ground. There's more than ample enough trash cans to place your trash in the trash. So please keep this community clean for everyone to enjoy it as it is. Director Stevens, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure working with you and seeing your diligent effort. Sometimes I see you tired and you're still working and you're still pushing through. It has been awesome and amazing. And to Deputy Director, congratulations.
Commissioner Bond.
Well, you have been a big advocate for the plunge, and I know you've listened to my tirades numerous times with aplomb and patience, and I really appreciate it. I feel like we're going to miss you. You have been a big advocate. You've done a lot and worked very hard for the city. You have a great staff. But they rally around someone who cares about them and cares about what they're doing, and that makes a big difference. I'd also like to say thank you, and the entire staff, but thank you for working so hard with the plunge and making it so we don't have any more closures. I meant to say that up front, but so far, since September, there have been, as far as I know, 0 closures because of lifeguards, not having lifeguards, and that's a huge step. I was one of the people who participated in the food drive. I took some stuff in, and I didn't realize I was going to get swim passes for it. I was just taking food in. So I think that was a really nice touch, but I know I wish you well in all of your endeavors, and I hope Torrance treats you as well as Culver City has, or better. I know there have been some rough times, but I hope it's smooth sailing for you.
Thank you.
Vice Peters.
I want to echo what everybody has said about Director Stevens. I think you started not long after I joined the commission, and I felt like when we joined, Parks was sort of adrift a little bit and needed some real leadership, and you really provided that over the last 2 years. And I just think the department has really flourished under your leadership, but also you've helped your staff flourish. I mean, it's amazing that Adam finally has the deputy director position. Congrats on that. But it's really been great working with you. I think you've done an amazing job here dealing with at times difficult patrons, difficult little league softball vice commissioners, they are really pains in the butt. And dealing with all of the everything that you've dealt with over the last 2 years. And this department really does a lot. And like you said, I think it kind of can get taken for granted but I've just seen huge improvements in the last 2 years. And I think that's really due in large part to your leadership. So thank you again. Good luck in Torrance. Come back if you hate it,
Please come back.
But I hope you don't hate it. I hope it's a really good move for you, and they're very lucky to have you.
Well, it has been my distinct pleasure to work with you, Director Stevens. This department seemed like it was a little adrift. It wasn't really focused on as many important things, or just big and small things that I think that you have brought that are benefiting our community, whether it comes from a parks master plan that we can start hanging our hats on small parts of and hopefully aspire to getting the bigger ones, or working with staff ideas and implementing things that we didn't have before, like Sensory Tuesday, or advocating for, getting back to things like youth sports leagues. All of these are very different, big, small, medium, very important, and probably the most important thing that you have done, though, is to work with your staff and let them grow. Because even though I understand very completely how, when you have an opportunity such as faces you with Torrance, that you're taking it, the fact that you've allowed your staff to grow and work with you, and Adam has definitely grown, and now he's a deputy director, this is going to leave us in good stead for a while. And I have a very good feeling, having worked up here with my fellow commissioners, that they are going to take to heart exactly what you were saying about advocating for the continuance of and taking this department to the next level. It's obviously that staff does it, but in any of the conversations that commissioners have individually with council members or members of the community, it is part of our job, if you will, to continue doing that kind of thing and to hopefully put forth a vision for the PRCS department so that when Ted comes up here to visit, he'll think, yes, I remember working with those people on the staff and the commission, and they're starting to implement those programs. Maybe we'll make you proud for that, but I'm certain that you're going to do an outstanding job at Torrance, and I really thank you on behalf of the community for what you've done.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you.
Is there a motion to adopt this item? Wait, this one doesn't require that, or does it?
It does not.
It does not. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I motion to adjourn.
I second the motion. That's fine. It happened again. I was hoping it's all right.
By our next meeting, we'll have this new system down.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Peters, seconded by Commissioner Whitaker, to adjourn, and you may start voting. And the votes are in, and that motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned at 9:43 p.m.
This thing up on the top that says operation failed. So on top of my screen, it says operation failed, please try again if issue persists. Oh.